Hello and welcome to the Magical Midlife Podcast, where you get a refreshing, uplifting and optimistic perspective on life in your 40s and 50s. I'm your host, Lindsay DeSwart, and I'm delighted that you've joined us here today, so let's jump right in. Hey, hello. Welcome back to the Magical Midlife Podcast. It's Lindsay here. Today we've got a very special episode because I am doing a fireside chat with Lesley McShane, who is the host of another midlife podcast called The New Old You. And we're having a reflection on our podcasting journeys over 2021 and also what we're looking forward to in 2022. So please join us. It's an inspiring chat. It's very upbeat. And we're both delighted that you could join us for today. So, hey, Lesley, how are you?
Hey, I'm great, Lindsay. How are you? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Yay!
Yay.
So
we both have children coming in from out of town. So
I know, can't wait. And It shifts, don't you find it just shifts everything? It's a complete gear change. Because you step out of this, podcasting, recording, professional guys and jump straight back into family mode.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like you're going on vacation yourself, even though you're still at home because, they're coming home and you're planning on cooking and sitting by the fire like we are today and, and watching movies and eating popcorn and just doing all the best of the things that you did while they were growing up.
Yeah, absolutely. Family walks.
Oh, yeah.
See, it's funny now because obviously my daughter's still at home, but my two sons are coming back in and listening to the sorts of things that they're looking forward to doing. It's so funny because you think, but you never loved doing that when you were at home. So how is all of a sudden that something you look forward to?
Give me a for instance there.
Like going for walks.
Oh.
For years. Yeah, for years we tried to get them out on walks.
Yeah, wouldn't do it.
Not really.
I don't think it's the walk. I think they want to spend time with you and they know that you enjoy it.
And I'm okay with that, whatever it takes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's perfect. That sounds nice. I'm trying not to overschedule the time for when Kate comes home, because I know that even though she's coming home and I want to spend every second with her, I know she doesn't want to spend every second with me. There may be some other people she wants to see. But just knowing that she's in her bed asleep.
I know. Why is that so reassuring?
I don't know. Maybe it just brings back a simpler time.
Yeah,
when they were babies. You know?
Maybe just knowing everybody was under one roof.
Yeah. Because I tell you, the older that they get.
Yeah.
Hey, puppy.
I thought he was going to sit on my lap.
The older they get, those visits home are going to get shorter and shorter.
Oh, don't say it. I know.
Well, but that reminds you that you really need to soak it all in.
And it's also a reminder of job well done, in the fact that have we not raised our kids to go out into the world and be the best people they can be?
Yeah.
So if they were actually sitting under our roof when they're like 35, that's a concern.
Yeah.
So if
this is true,
they're doing everything that we've hoped and raised them to do, then that means they're out stretching their wings and doing their thing, which is awesome.
Yes. They're succeeding, they're failing, they're doing all the things that we did.
Exactly.
And we survived. At least so far. So far.
Indeed.
We're still around. We still have half our lives to live. So you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've both jumped into this podcasting thing.
Yes.
For you're coming up for an anniversary, aren't you?
I am. In January, I am coming up on 1 year of my podcast.
Oh, good for you.
And
Congratulations.
that is so hard to believe. But, what's funny is that I was revisiting my journal from a year ago today, this week. And I swear I'm journaling every day. Should I do a podcast? Should I not? What microphone should I get? Will anybody listen? It's funny the things, and you go back and you're reading things that were going on, and then you fast forward a year, and I've been doing it for almost a year, and all the things that I have learned, all the topics that I've talked to people about. It's just amazing what can happen in a year.
Absolutely. It really is. Yeah.
So when did you start thinking about doing a podcast?
So I was thinking about that before. I think I actually started in maybe June in the summer. And I remember walking in the fields with my dogs, which is where I do a lot of thinking. I remember trudging through the fields going, this podcast idea keeps coming up. Maybe I should just give it a go. Maybe I should try that. And so I did. And so, we're 6 months in now. And same thing, the people I've met, the people I've talked to, the feedback I've had. For me, I started off actually by interviewing friends that I'd lost touch with.
Which is a great way to get back in touch with them.
Which has connected me back to friends pretty much from, certainly young adulthood and some even childhood. And it's been amazing. So,
well, it's amazing how you can be talking to somebody even that you've known for years, and in the span of an hour, you learn more about them than you have ever learned in all the years that you've known them.
It's true.
Amazing.
Yeah. So who have your favorite guests been on yours?
Well, I can't really say. I mean, I have a lot of favorite guests, including you.
Mutual Appreciation Society.
Yeah, exactly. But I tell you what, and I've had this question before of, which podcast stands out the most to me. And I do have to tell you that, there's been a few, but I do this thing in my podcast called the Inspiration Series. And that's when I have a guest that it has overcome something to do what they're doing, or they made a major change in life. And this is how it's turned out. But a friend of mine that I actually used to race bicycles with 3 years ago was in a terrible accident. She was hit head on while she was riding a scooter by a truck. Wow. And as she was being airlifted, she died twice in the helicopter. She ended up a quadriplegic.
Wow.
And she tells the story of how she has tried to gain back as much as possible and then some through, her therapies and just sheer will.
Yeah.
But that in the last year, one of her daughters has given her a grandbaby, and she's just kind of like, I think about it all the time. What if I had died? What if I had never met that little baby?
Wow.
And she's quite amazing. It's I don't know what episode it is, but her name is Denise Everett, and she is actually right after we recorded. And this was, back in April, she got a hand cycle because she has some movement with her hands. She was able to get out and ride her hand cycle. She lives in Florida now, so she can just leave from her driveway and cycle. She's actually going to race it in January.
Wow.
Yeah. She's amazing.
Yeah, that is an incredible story.
Yeah, nothing is stopping her.
What an amazing lady.
I just love that story. So what about you? What stands out for you? Besides me, of course.
Well, apart from you, obviously. Yeah, imposter syndrome. Fantastic. I made a list of obviously quite a long list because I really enjoyed him, of a lot of my guests that I've really enjoyed. But one of the ones that really stands out, and in fact has had the most listeners of all of my podcasts, is a lady I did my shamanic training with. And her name is Petra Carroll. And she is, she lives in Ireland, in County Armagh, and she owns a hairdressing salon. And what's so interesting is she's done that for many, many years, and she's built up a very successful business, and she trains so many girls coming through her hairdressing salon that she's done for years. And so now all of her awakening and all of the learning that she's now going through, of course, she passes it on to all of her staff.
Right.
Just by being who she is.
Right.
And her episode is fantastic. And again, as you said earlier on, you learn so much about people because by talking to them for an hour, you ask the sort of questions that you'd never normally ask.
Mm-hmm.
And she told me all about, raising her children and being so busy and just having a completely different focus in life while she was building her business to where she is now. And she really was the walking example, or she really is the walking example of the magical midlife, because she's had this complete awakening and a completely different view on her business.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, she was fantastic to talk to.
Yeah. That's fun.
Yeah. I mean, she says it on the episode, so I can share it with you. She said she actually knew that she miscarried her baby whilst doing a haircut.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
But she said, I wouldn't leave the floor because I had to keep working.
Yeah.
I mean, can you even imagine?
No. Now, does she wish that she had done everything different?
No, she's glad that she knows a different way now.
Okay. Yeah.
And of course, there are some things that she wishes that she could have changed, but she also knows that everything has its place.
Right. Right.
But yeah, so I have to say that was one of my really humbling, I'd say, interviews.
Yeah.
It was.
I feel like I've had a few of those. Humbling.
Oh, yeah.
And
I think that's really about people sharing their stories. Because I remember when I got into life coaching 20 odd years ago nearly, and the thing that I took away after every session, and no matter how traumatic people's stories were, I was still incredibly humbled and really actually impressed by the strength of the human spirit.
Right.
By what people overcome.
Yeah. That's the thing I think people don't realize is how strong they are.
Mm.
They think that they're weak, that they're not handling things correctly, but it takes somebody else. It almost takes like a mirror to reflect back on you. So if you're giving somebody that kind of space and letting them tell their story, maybe they're hearing it too, and they can realize how, well, maybe I am strong.
Yeah.
Look what I've overcome.
Yeah. And before I mean, you've seen the letter that I send out, but before I have an interview with anybody, I'm really open. And I say the intention of this is that you are honest and open, because in anybody sharing their story, there is such wisdom for people listening.
Mm-hmm.
Because, social media, you see one side of people.
Right. Right.
But certainly with a podcast, with the sort of interviews that you and I do, I think we get rather deeper than just the social media shininess.
Yeah. I may have told you this. I can't remember who I told, but I think it was you. It's almost like every time I record a conversation with someone, it's like a therapy session for me.
Mm.
I'm learning so much about them, but I'm learning so much about me at the same time. And almost, I'm seeing that strength in other people, and I'm trying to like suck the life out of them. Give me some of that. I want what you have. Give me some of that light, you know? And I think I've been able to take something from every conversation that I've had to implement it into my life.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Which I am so grateful for. So very grateful for.
Grateful and hopefully proud of too. Because unless you had some of that within you, you wouldn't have seen it in other people.
True. See, you're a mirror for me. I'm seeing that.
Yeah. And that's, I believe, what's brought this all together, this whole podcasting journey. And the friendship that we've made since we've been doing it, and some of the other people that we've both interviewed, Creed Revere, just an inspiration.
Yes.
And I know we've both shared her interviews around Christmas time because, of course, with estrangement and family.
Right.
And there is something in there for all of us. But I believe in every single story of every single guest that we both interview, there is something in there for all of us.
Yes, for sure. So we both invested in a podcasting class. I mean, we didn't know each other 3 months ago.
I mean, for heaven's sakes, you're in Kentucky and I'm up here in Ontario.
But I mean, was signing up for this podcasting class a hard decision for you?
No, it was one of those things that you saw it and it just stuck with me. I just kind of couldn't let it go. And I think it's also because when I started the podcast, I started it with no more intention other than perhaps I should, this will be fun. And if it feels good, maybe I should do it. And that was my full intention with starting a podcast. I never thought of anything beyond that.
Right.
You know,
same here. It was just something I did. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then when somebody actually says, oh, but you really enjoy doing that. And guess what? You could make a lot more of it. And you could throw yourself into it more than you thought you could. And you're enjoying it anyway. How's that for a good idea? And so when I saw the course, I was like, yeah, that's a good idea because I love doing this.
Yeah. I was the same way. You know, I've been doing a podcast for a while. And it was to that point where it was kind of like, okay, so what are you doing? I mean, are you just having fun? Or is this something you want to do?
Yeah.
You know? So there's that. Is it a hobby? Or is it something that you're going to try to make a living out of? Because we all have to make a living.
Yeah.
And that class, I think, was a good place to start down helping to make that decision. Because that's a big decision.
It's a big decision because it's a time investment and it's an energy investment. And it also takes some courage to get out there and get your voice heard and know that you are trying to get your voice heard by more people.
Right.
That takes some courage.
It does. It takes a lot of courage to say, hey, you should go and listen to my voice for an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
Or go to people you don't know and say, hey, you should come talk to me for an hour.
Yeah. Or ask for reviews. Things like, okay, so can you actually tell me what you thought of this? Because what if they don't like it?
Right. Well, I always tell my listeners to only let me know if they like it. Don't let me know if you don't like it.
You know what, though?
I'm kidding.
No, you'll either get people ranting and raving because they don't like it, or they just won't listen. And if they just don't listen, then that's all you could hope for, because at least then they're not ranting and raving.
Yeah, exactly. So what has your podcast meant to you this year?
Oh, that's a good question. What has it meant to me? So I've done it, as I say, because I really enjoyed it. It's meant that I've reconnected and connected with some wonderful, wonderful people that I'm so grateful to connect and reconnect with. More recently, actually, since being on the course, what it's meant to me is it has reaffirmed my positive outlook in what lies ahead. And the reason being, because the course we've been on, there are so many people trying to share the message of happiness, optimism, waking up, and living in a positive way and supporting each other. And I would say that's been a real wave of support, and helping me find a purpose, actually.
Yeah.
What's it meant to you?
Yeah, that last part for sure. I was telling you, I was reading my journal from this time last year, and there are so many entries that say, I need to find myself. I need to find something outside of this job that I have that's mine. I need something that's mine. I'm reading this over and over. And then I started the podcast, and all the time I worried about what I didn't have and wasn't getting in the way of work. I'm a freelancer. I was able to use that time to focus on my thing. So I wasn't fretting all the time or getting upset, or it has really given, like you said, it's given me a purpose. And it's even grown from that, that this purpose that I have has grown into something that's, I think, more important to me than all that past worry. I don't worry about that stuff that I worried about a year ago, because, things happen the way they're supposed to. And so far I've been provided for, and I believe that I will continue to be provided for. And now I'm able to live this purpose that makes me feel so good inside.
Yeah.
It
really is the warm and fuzzies, isn't it?
It is. I hope people aren't like, woo, 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 woo. No, but seriously, I think that when you follow your heart, you may be juggling and at odds inside for a long time trying to figure out what to do. But if you get down to it and you follow that thing that deep down inside that you should do, that you're set free.
Yeah.
And it could be a big thing. It could be a small thing.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. And I mean, the small steps. If you think about it, every single person you've interviewed, every time you reach out to them, every time you record and then you edit and then you do the social media to let people know that, the episode's coming out, all of those things on their own are just small things, but they all add up to something so much more.
And then when you hear from somebody that it has meant something to them.
Yeah.
There is nothing like that.
I know. Such a sense of purpose.
Yeah. For sure. So what do you got coming up in the next year? How are you going to have 2021 follow you into 2022?
Well, that's a nice way of putting it. So I've been, I've built a Facebook group, the Magical Midlife Facebook group with my podcast. And then within that, I have been offering some guided meditations. And so I think next year I'm actually going to offer a membership program to people who've been listening and people who enjoy this vibe and they enjoy being a midlife woman. And so that's what I'll be doing. I'm going to take a couple of weeks actually off over Christmas, spend time with the kids and, enjoy that time. And then in January, just jump straight into the podcasting again. I've got some really interesting episodes already lined up, which I can't wait to share. So they're all lined up and ready to go. And so I think that's what 2022 is going to be. It's really just helping people at a deeper level and reaching out to people, because my just because obviously I'm from England, I live in Canada. A lot of the people that I work with and associate with and that follow me are in the States. So I'm also getting some listeners in Australia. So I really feel like this is a real global movement. And I'm looking forward to sharing that. And what about you, Lesley?
Oh, wow. Well, I talked to Susie Miles yesterday, and she's in the middle of making a big pivot in her work life. And it's something that she has been working on for 4 years. Do. So we were calling it the slow pivot burn.
Nice.
And I'm kind of in the same place. I like making sure things are, I'm feeling that in my gut. I can't just jump off a ledge and go. I got to have things planned out. That's just the way I am. I'm a planner. They call me the admin. That's what I do. So I have a lot of ideas of things that I'm going to do in this next year, up until the end of the year. I have plans the whole year, and it definitely involves continuing with the podcast. It involves setting up my own business, and it involves writing 1 or more books.
That's exciting.
Yes. I can't wait to get started on that. And I've already gotten started. I can't wait to really dive in. And I'm like you, I may do some sort of membership, because I tell you what, being in your midlife, there are so many things that you can touch on.
Yeah.
So many things. I was talking to a friend of mine. He was like, what's the hardest part about your podcast? Is it coming up with ideas? I was like, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
No, the topics are endless.
Yes. Seriously.
I mean, I say all the time that we are some of the most complex people on the face of the earth. Women over 50. We are complex. We are dealing with so much that people don't know about, because we take it on and we just carry it. Yeah. And we don't bother other people with it. So I seriously feel that I'd like to do some sort of membership where we're all in this huge community and hearing from people who will help us deal with some of these things that we've taken on ourselves, and just be together and know that we're not all alone, for sure. So those are kind of my big view of what's going to happen in 2022. And I'm very positive and optimistic and excited about it. And I haven't been that way in so long, Lindsay.
Yes.
That it's almost more than I can take.
Yeah, that's so cool. But don't you feel there's almost like a bubble of excitement? Once the thing that I'm noticing when I speak to people, and the feedback that I'm getting, is so many people, so many women of our age, and I think it's probably quite a few men too, they feel that by now they thought they would be in a different place.
Yeah. They thought or they're not where they thought they would be. Exactly.
They're not where they thought they would be. And that could be finances. It could be their relationship. It could be with their career. It could be, as you say, all of those subject matters that we can talk about. And so they're kind of looking inward a little bit, saying, well, what was it I actually wanted? And it's like you saying with all your journaling, it's that purpose. And that once you ask yourself different questions, or once you tap into different inspiration, different sources of information, I find that you can get to this stage where there is this bubbling of excitement of, oh my goodness, something new is here or on the horizon or around the corner, but it's not filled with fear. It's not oh my goodness, what's coming? It's oh my goodness, look what's coming. Wait. Right. I can't wait. Exactly.
Yeah. I think that it's when you put in the work to realize that really anything is possible. Not, I can't do that because I don't have enough money. I can't do that because I'm too old. Once you kind of do a little switch in your mind that you know that you can actually do anything, become anything, have anything, then the possibilities open up.
So true.
And so many people are stuck at that. They see the wall and they see what's kind of possible over the wall, but they just can't see all the way over the wall.
And the other thing is they see how many of their friends have maybe actually jumped over the wall.
Yeah.
And are on the other side having fun. And it's a question of, okay, are you prepared to jump over that wall by doing, whatever it takes for you to get over there, which might be doing that one tiny thing that you enjoy. And as you say, that provides freedom. Right. Because it's so you believing. Yeah.
Right. You have to believe. The thing is, most of the time, there's nothing to lose at all. And if you think that there is something to lose, that's just your mind playing tricks on you.
Oh, yes.
I can't do that because all my friends will think I'm crazy.
Oh, yeah. I know that one.
Yeah. It's kind of like, well, they're probably not really paying attention to you, first of all. And second of all, who cares what they think?
Exactly.
What do you think?
Exactly.
How does that make you feel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I've got a question for you.
Go for it.
This whole idea about you just got to believe. What are you looking forward to about Christmas?
Wow. You brought me all the way back.
Well, as soon as I heard you got to believe, I'm like, ooh, well, that's this time of year. What do we do with this?
Yeah. So your question is,
what are you looking forward to?
What am I looking forward to? Oh my gosh. Oh, I love Christmas.
Yeah.
I love the whole time between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Even when I, back during all my working years, there's something about the end of the year when you know that you have given it your all year long, that this time it's like you can kind of let your hair down a little bit and just enjoy friends and family and food and bevies and lights and snow and whatever,
Yeah.
But the thing I'm looking forward to the most, I think it's quiet nights at home with my kids, with the Christmas tree on, and hot chocolate or a beer or whatever we got going on, and a fire, and having meaningful conversation. They're adults now.
Yeah.
And they have such amazing dreams and thoughts and opinions. And I love, now that I've done this podcast thing and I have really learned how to listen to people, I can't wait to sit down and just listen to them, and not doing that mom thing that I did for years and years and years, and to tell them, this is what you should think, and this is what you should do, and these are the people you should hang out with. That part of life is over. I want to hear about them now.
Oh,
yeah. So cool. What about you?
Very similar in the fact that having family meals when the kids were younger, it was a question of you're trying to fit it in between stuff. There was stuff that you were trying to manage, trying to fix, get homework done, get out the door. Whereas now it's almost like you've got permission to enjoy family meals, and they're older, as you say, they're nearly adults, and you can just enjoy their company. And you don't have to then run out the door to a soccer practice or make sure they've done their homework and stuff like that. You can enjoy them for being who they are.
Yeah.
And that's a phase in life, which, let's face it, we're kind of privileged to be at this phase in life.
Mm-hmm. Very lucky.
Most people don't look at it that way, but that is one of the benefits of midlife.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Time to reap that benefit, that reward.
Yeah.
For sure.
Don't you just want to raise kids that grow up to be people you enjoy spending time with?
Yeah. You know, my husband and I have always said there are things that our kids do that have driven us crazy, or maybe we don't agree with or whatever, but we always think back and we're kind of like, the number one important thing is that they are both amazing people. Bottom line, they care about people. They want to help people. You know, that's the most important thing, is that they're good people. It doesn't matter that they're tops in this and making $1 million a year, or married to Miss America, or, you know, whatever other labels. They're good people.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And are they happy doing what they're doing? Because if they're happy doing what they're doing, then surely isn't that the enlightenment that we've all been searching for?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They found out early if they enjoy what they're doing. Yeah. You know,
they are the enlightened generation.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Now, the other thing I have to mention is that my mother-in-law is very ill.
Yes.
And I don't know if she'll be listening to this podcast, but she is very ill, and more than likely, you don't know how science works and everything, but there's a chance that it could be her last Christmas with us. And so we want to, and I'm going to try not to get emotional, we want to spend as much quality time with her as we can. Yeah. And it's for her, but it's almost more for us, so that we can carry that memory all the rest of our years. You know?
Absolutely.
So looking forward to that this Christmas too.
Yeah. And it will make this Christmas special.
It will. Yeah.
For the whole family.
Yes. So where do you see yourself in a year from now? If we are sitting here.
Oh my goodness.
In 1 year. What are you telling me in a year?
Well, as we said at the beginning, a lot happens in a year.
A lot happens.
So it's a nice full circle. Don't you love it how podcast interviews go that way? A lot happens in a year. So this year we ventured out to BC, and we loved the look of BC, and we were like, oh, I think that could be where we should be. Anyway, on reflection, I don't know if that's where we're going to move to in the summer. I would love to be out there. Absolutely. And I'd love to spend more time out there. And as my daughter is still at home and about to start high school, and there's obviously a lot of change going on for everybody in the world, it might be that we don't just pack up and run like we thought we were going to. Because that might not be the best option right now. So in a year's time, I must admit, very much along the spiritual path of, I don't have a vision for where I'm going to be in a year's time.
Yeah.
Because I am trying to live a lot more in the being guided.
We have talked about that.
We have talked about this. Yeah. Because when we had the whole conversation about goal setting, and I used to be all over goal setting, and I've worked very hard to let it go.
That's so funny how you and I are so different.
Yeah, I know, absolutely. And this is where one of these things where you say, but we've both got a midlife podcast about the same thing. Well, we have, and we do. Yeah. So I can safely say I have no idea where I will be in a year's time. I might still be sitting here talking to you by this fire. I might not. And I am okay and in trusting that wherever I am in a year's time is because that's exactly where I'm meant to be in a year's time.
Yeah.
And what about you?
Well, let me get out my list.
I was going to say, she brings out the list. Well, I'm achieving this and this and this.
Oh, so true. All right, admin, where are you going to be in a year? Well,
you're going to be chief of admin.
I'm already chief of admin.
Oh, I know.
Ask anybody I know that is around me. No, I'm going to keep it more philosophical. Looking forward, I've seen a big change. Like I said, I've been reading my journal from this time last year and then reading the entries over the last couple of weeks. I see a big market change in me over the last year. I can see that even deepening and growing between this year and next year. So if I'm reading my journals a year from now, I am hoping that it never has any complaints about doing things I don't want to do, or work that I won't want to do, that it's only full of things that are positive, that I'm happy with what I'm doing. I'm successful with what I'm doing. There's purpose. It's purpose driven, that I'm making an impact, that somebody's getting something from it. And that I'm able to support my family with it.
Awesome.
That's what I anticipate that my journal will read like a year from now.
Very cool.
I will be sitting in this chair. I will still be in this house. I do know that.
You see, and that's nice to know.
Yeah. I love my house. I love where I live. I mean, that's not it. We won't always be here, but yeah, we'll be here next year.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. No, I certainly knew for a long time that was like, no, this is where I need to be. And now that feeling isn't the same of maybe I need to be here. Maybe I don't.
Yeah. That's how you start to know. You start to follow that gut.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
believe in that.
Absolutely. Righty ho. So that people can hopefully be inspired by us taking action and by jumping into doing what we have really enjoyed doing. Following the, following the cookie crumbs or following the breadcrumbs or whatever the trail.
Keeping your eyes open and seeing those breadcrumbs, not just stepping on them.
Yeah, totally. My goodness. I'm not just picking them up and eating them, depending on how tasty they are.
Yeah. I'm hungry. Stop.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So maybe we should draw this to a close. So is there anything that you want to say to people who have joined us on this podcast journey?
Well, first of all, I want to hear from you how people can find you in the new year.
That's a good one.
Tell me.
Okay.
Tell me where to find you.
Okay. So, so first of all, I keep forgetting to introduce myself. So first of all, Lindsay DeSwart, which I can be found on all social media as Lindsay DeSwart. And my podcast is Magical Midlife. That's probably actually just the best information, because if I give you more, I'm going to overwhelm, and I don't want to do that. I have a podcast group called the Magical Midlife group on Facebook, and that is where I give away my free meditations, and I will be talking more about my membership group that I think is going to be along the lines of wings. There is something definitely brewing about the idea of wings. So it's going to be about flight or wings for 2022. But you will find it all over on the Magical Midlife Facebook group. And where can people find you, Lesley?
Well, my podcast is The New Old You with Lesley McShane. That's moi. And I do have kind of an insider Facebook group for the new old you. And I'm sure that we'll put all these links in the show notes and that sort of thing. And I'm pretty active on Instagram. So you can follow me at Lesley L. McShane. And my website is llmcshane.com. And all the crazy stuff is there. So yeah, that's enough. Otherwise it's overwhelm. You're right.
Yeah.
So anything you want to end with? Or do you want me to end?
All I want to say is Merry Christmas and have fun and enjoy. And thank you for joining us on the journey, really.
Yeah,
thank you for sharing this journey.
Oh gosh. Now see if I say something really long.
Then it's perfect just the way it is.
I think that if I say anything is that if you don't do anything else in 2022, love yourself. Find a way to love yourself. Whatever that is, however that is, love yourself the way you are. Take some time for some self-care and go after one thing that you want. One thing. And we'll see you back next year.
We will. For our possibly next year fireside chat, wherever it may be.
Exactly. And I can't wait to watch this one back before the next one.
I know, that'll be fun.
That would be a blast.
It'll be like reviewing your journal from last year.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be like, whoa. Yeah.
Very, very cool. So wishing you a very, very Merry Christmas and happy holidays.
And you too. Enjoy your children.
Absolutely. Enjoy your family time, all of your family.
Thank you.
And
I appreciate it.
Sending you so much love and blessings for the new year.
You too.
So what did you think? I hope you enjoyed this episode. This will be the last regular podcast episode for 2021. There is some more special content being delivered in the Magical Midlife group on Facebook if you want to come and join us. And I'm doing some free meditations and free sessions on there. And apart from that, please can I ask, as a Christmas gift, shall I say, that you review the podcast. And if it's something that you enjoy, please review it, let me know and share it with your friends. And I look forward to seeing you in the new year, where I have got lots of very interesting and inspirational guests lined up for you to start at the beginning of January. So finally, just happy holidays, happy Christmas. I hope you have a really nice holiday and manage to take some time to rest and recuperate and have some lovely fun. And so you feel refreshed, ready for the new year. Okay, see you then. And thanks again.